This computer science professor just got fired for giving dating advice to one of his students. Was he right? Was he wrong? How did he get into so much trouble? And what can you learn about this story? One of the things I always talk about is go to the source. This all started on a Berkeley computer science board. Hey, I'm very lost on what to do with my life after school. I also am kind of scared of academia. Okay, so he's just questioning whether or not he should be working in academia, and he asked if anyone have any inputs on what he should do after college. I wanted to make this post available for everyone in case they're in a similar situation. Of course, you're about to graduate. It's a very, very familiar situation that we've all been in. There are just so many amazing people in the class, and I would really love to hear all your inputs. Thank you so much. So far, this is a very positive thread. Here's where this goes off the rails. I think this is a second user. He posted saying, I would avoid academia, so he's trying to give him advice.
Hey man, you're black. You are too.
I think I'm very effed right now, considering how little I've accomplished, and then there are these classes that already take up 90% of your allowable time, which means no time left. It takes a turn. Currently, the only drive that makes me still want to try my best and fight for my future is that knowing getting a girlfriend is even harder, like for real. I only know 4 girls, not counting the ones that are virtual or expired. Due to having talked to them for a long time. Dude, your friendships don't expire. Milk expires, okay? 2 of them, their parents know my parents, so I can't do anything. 1 of them friend-zoned and not interested.
What?
Oh boy. I am not getting a girlfriend at least till I graduate, 100% sure, probably because he doesn't have any prospects right now in college. What he doesn't know is that there are a lot of girls in college, and afterwards it gets even harder. And then this dude goes on to say, if anyone has some friends that you would introduce me to, I will pay $5 per guy, 10 per girl, double if you introduce yourself. What? Please don't pay too much attention to the money, as I think compared to the tuition we gotta pay, spending a few hundred on socializing is definitely worth it. I totally expect a scenario where no one introduces me any people. In that case, I still have a lot of plans in mind. $10 for a girl. I can tell you right off the bat that this is a guy who doesn't have a lot of social skills. He sees everything in life logically. He doesn't understand how to vibe and interact with people normally. And he sees social connections as business transactions. Those of you that don't know, if you're in STEM, if you're in computer science, you're gonna meet a lot of guys like this who are socially awkward. They haven't had a lot of experience with women, and this is how they talk.
I like to make a greeting card, so I brought some for you guys to see. It says, I hope you're happy. Because you ruined my life, you bitch. All right.
They don't talk like this because they look down on women or they are derogatory or misogynist. They talk this way because that's how their brains work, and they're not aware of anything else. And it's hard for them to even register that what a human relationship actually looks like or feels like. And here's where it goes completely off the rails. The professor jumps in and he says, if you want a girlfriend, get out of the Bay Area. Everywhere else on the planet is better for that. I'm not kidding at all. You'll be shocked by the stark differences in behavior of women in places where women are plentiful versus their behavior within artillery distance of San Jose and San Francisco. And then it goes off the rails, you know. Oh, thanks for the advice, professor. What do you think the best place is to get a girlfriend? For context, I'm 5'2", no job, no money. I'm 6'2", and still no girls. Okay, so obviously this is a very weird thread for most people, but in these circles where there's like a bunch of guys who don't know what they're doing, it's very common, okay? Now this professor got in trouble because he talked about girls in the Bay, and understandably so. This is a computer science, I'm assuming some type of platform hosting a conversation that's on the university, right? So they shouldn't be talking about women and dating like that. And even if it's true, we know the Bay Area has really bad ratios and the girls are very entitled because of that. You can't just say that on this type of forum. Do I think the professor was wrong? Definitely. Do I think he should be fired? No, I think the university did the right thing. They asked him to write an apology, he did, and that was that. Do I think cancel culture in the US is getting very extreme? Yeah, I think someone leaked this thread and then got really outraged, even though what he said is 100% true.
Call 911 now!
Could he have said it a better way? Definitely. If I was a professor, and I genuinely wanted to help my students, I would have said something like, in terms of the job search, here's what my other students, 50% of them are in jobs here, and the other 30% went into academia, blah, blah, blah. I would have given him hard data so he can make an informed decision and also stay motivated. And then if I really wanted to help him on the dating front, I wouldn't write something like this. I would just say, for the dating part, I'm married, I'm a professor, this is a computer science thread. However, you're welcome to come to me after class, and I'm happy to, share my experiences with you there, okay? Now, what can you learn from all of this? If you're in corporate America, especially the Fortune 500s, if you're at a university in Canada or America, or even Australia, if you are in the States in particular, you have to be careful what you write. If you're writing, within the work context, if you're at your job, on a public forum, and just stay professional at all times, unless you're talking to people you trust or offline. Let me share a personal story with you that really relates to this particular story, and hopefully it will give you a context as to when to ask for dating advice and how to think about protecting yourself from getting canceled. Once upon a time, I was at a Fortune 500 company. I had just joined after my career at Google. Right when I joined, there were people that liked me and there were people that didn't like me. One of our big clients came to my manager and he said, hey, I want that guy who worked at Google to handle my SEO because he probably knows more. Truth be told, I didn't really know that much. I knew some of their search factors, but I was learning everything as well in this new industry from scratch in terms of their SEO. So the manager assigned me to that and he just said, hey, Giovanni, this client wants you because you're from Google. And unbeknownst to me at that time, some of the coworkers felt a little bit jealous. At the time, I was kind of a cocky kid, so I definitely came across like, you probably wouldn't have liked me right away back then. So fast forward 2 months, we have this Slack thread where we were talking about this new tech platform that allowed you to create your own Pinterest website that collected a bunch of photos on a subject area, and we were talking whether or not it would help with SEO. And I had written a Slack message, and that Slack message linked to an article. It was like TechCrunch. I think it was TechCrunch. If not, it was something similar, like The Verge or Valleywag back then. And the article said people are using this to create new adult sites by aggregating photos. And in the article, it didn't have any adult pictures, but it did have the logo of the adult sites, and I think it may have 1 or 2 adult actresses, fully clothed, of course, as an example in that article. So a week goes by, and I get a call from HR, and HR says, hey, we have to open a case against you for sexual harassment. And I was confused because I just started the job and I haven't even talked to anybody. So my manager then gets the call and he comes over and he says, hey, Giovanni, look, sorry about this. Yeah, can you just delete that, Slack message? I'm like, yeah, no problem. I delete the Slack message. And because we're at a Fortune 500 publicly traded company, HR has to investigate any type of sexual harassment claims. And so they kick off this whole meeting. And luckily for me, at the time, my manager was one of those guys, very rare, who was just a stand-up guy. He didn't stand for BS. He wasn't friends with me, but he treated me fairly, and that's the most important thing, to be treated fairly, which is actually pretty rare in corporate. So my manager gets on the call with me and he says, this is BS, like, what's going on here? Giovanni just joined, he completely professional. This one message, it's just referencing an article. Maybe it's a little inappropriate for a corporate, message board, but we deleted it and let's move on, okay? So my manager's just trying to move forward, right? So I'm just like talking to all the girls on my team. I'm like, hey, did I offend you in any way? And then someone reported it to HR again that I was contacting them and it was like against the sexual harassment policies. And this is when my manager got pretty upset. And here's what he did. He hosted a meeting for the whole team and he gets in. He's usually a very nice guy, but this time he was very serious and said, look guys, you're on my team. And if you're on my team, I'm not gonna tolerate this kind of BS. He's like, stop it right now. And he was and the way he said it was like, look, if you're gonna continue doing this, you're not gonna be on my team. And he's like, do you understand? And he paused and the whole room, he just looked around until everybody was like, the people that didn't know, they were like, yeah, what's going on? The people that knew, they were like, yeah, okay, they got it. He's like, good, thank you so much. Let's get back to work. And that was the last of that. We had one more call with HR. My manager squashed it and that was that. And I was really, really lucky, guys, because I had a fair manager at the time, okay? He wasn't my friend. He didn't owe me anything. He was just a guy who did the right thing, okay? His name was Ryan, and I will always be thankful for him for that because back then I was just a young, cocky kid. Now, unbeknownst to me, later on I found out through other people kind of stepping up and telling me because they thought it was kind of f***ed up. What happened was one of the guys, this is actually another Asian guy of all people. He was a slightly overweight Asian guy. For some reason, he didn't like me, okay? And I think what I heard was that he didn't like me because I came in from Google, I got all this praise. and he's been there for a long time. And the client asked for me. If I had to guess, it was jealousy and maybe anger. And so he filed a HR claim against me, and he actually got another girl involved. And the girl kind of reluctantly went along with it, right? She said, oh, she was offended by the thread that I posted that linked to this article. And my manager was really pissed because he's like, this is a non-starter, right? Like, you're just trying to create drama. So I found out he filed the case, and it was a frivolous case. And unfortunately, with Fortune 500s, because we're publicly traded, HR had to get involved. Ultimately, it was squashed, and eventually the girl ended up leaving the team for undisclosed reasons, and eventually that guy ended up leaving the team as well. He got a better job. He was frustrated at the job for a long time. Maybe he just took it out on me. Okay, why am I telling you this story? I'm telling you this story because it's very similar, I think, to what happened to this professor. Now, this professor is a lot older than I was back then. I was in my 20s, mid-20s back then. But here's the lesson, right? If you're in a corporate situation, if you're in a university situation, you have to be very, very careful what you say and what you post on these type of threads. Back then, cancel culture wasn't big, okay? But I still almost got canceled because I had enemies. So you have to learn how to do corporate speak. At a university situation, you have to learn how to do professional speak, right? Because the university is liable for you getting canceled, even if it was not your fault. Same thing with my manager. He was dealing with this. He didn't want to deal with it, but he knew that if he didn't deal with it, it would become an issue. My manager could have easily gotten mad at me for causing him problems, but because he was a stand-up guy, he looked at the situation and he realized this was someone else trying to start drama. It was a very valuable lesson for me. After this episode, I committed myself to learning what we call corporate speak. It's like this girl right here when she's asking why she's getting fired, and the people on the phone won't tell her. Why? Because if they give a reason, then she has a reason to sue.
Wait, yeah, no, can you explain for me why Brittany Peach is getting let go?
I won't be able to go into specifics for numbers.
Wait, why though? I just started. I've been working extremely hard.
Yeah, I can totally respect that. And I don't think Dom or myself today is going to give you any clarity or answers.
So am I getting let go for no reason? If you guys can't give me a reason, tell someone that they're fired, completely wreck their whole life, and then that's it with no explanation.
You have questions that we cannot give answers.
Corporate speak is the corporation's way to protect itself from liability. Some people hate corporate speak, but what I learned from this experience is that corporate speak is necessary sometimes to protect yourself and to protect the company, to have a uniform standard for things for productivity to happen. Corporate speak can be taken too far when you kind of cut off the humanity from it, and this is when you ask for feedback and you're like, well, and they talk for like 30 minutes and they give you no information whatsoever.
I'm happy to follow up with you separately to give you the data that was calibrated. I'll need to speak with revenue leadership specifically to see if we can get that for you. But Dom and
can
I
you
did
share
not
that
have
with me
that
now?
in our meeting. I cannot share that with you right now.
Once I learned corporate speak, my career started taking off. I started getting jobs, promotions, and I started moving into middle management, away from a IC role, individual contributor role. And there's a whole different chapter there I can tell you, but this is the story, right? And why am I telling you this story? Well, whatever job you're in right now, right? Unless you're working for yourself, and even then you have employees and stuff. Once you learn the rules of the game, you can protect yourself from your enemies, and you can navigate and find those that align with you. And once you do, they become friends and you can let the walls down. And this is one of the secrets to making friends at work, which is like, who am I corporate speaking with? And can I gradually let that wall come down and speak to them? And because of this, I was able to make some lifelong friends. My LinkedIn profile has some amazing recommendations from people that are now CEOs, unicorn startup founders, because of my time at Google and thereafter at other Fortune 500s. If you want to succeed in university or in life, learn to be professional, learn to know when you can speak real with someone and when you can't, and you will advance very quickly once you learn how to do that. Is the Bay Area bad for dating for men? Yeah, it's one of the worst places you could be for dating for men. The professor is stating nothing that anyone didn't know. The way he said it could have been a lot better. It was not the right forum to say that. If you're in the Bay right now and you're graduating, I feel for you. It's a great place to build your career. I did it. I was there for 7-8 years. It's not a great place for dating for single men. One way that you can help yourself improve your dating life is to buy my courses. But if you're not convinced yet, or maybe you're strapped for money, let me tell you a little bit about First Date Formula, my foundational course. It includes footage of me and me breaking down that footage of me approaching women that I don't know, very gorgeous women on the street, on the beach, at the nightclub, and different situations. It includes my online dating funnel, which I'll teach you. It includes my social circle building. It has everything you need to get dating abundance. even if you're in the Bay. A little harder in the Bay, you have to put in a little more work. A lot of my initial successes were actually in the Bay because I had no other choice because I was working. Check out the first day formula at the link in the description or at this link right here, high integrity skills/33. Now, if you are a computer science major and you're an Asian guy and you're competing in the States or in Western countries, I also developed a course called Dating Without Borders. You can download the initial free cheat sheet with 10 hacks for Asian guys at datingwithoutborders.net. This course is like first day formula, but it's specifically designed for Asian guys. It specifically targets that initial foreignness factor that we have, and I teach you how to get over that feeling like there's a wall between you and girls of other cultures. I will also teach you lines specifically that I use and how I do online dating differently as an Asian guy to actually get results. Okay, I've helped a lot of Asian clients at this point optimize their online dating funnel, and Dating Without Borders does that for you. All of the resources in the description and all of the guides you can download for free. They're PDFs you can save on your desktop and you can look at them and memorize the lines and adapt them for yourself at any time. Okay, just check out the links in the YouTube video description. And if you want to know what makes the Bay Area so bad for dating and what you can actually do about it if you live there right now, then check out this video that I made that breaks down the gender ratios in the Bay and 4 techniques that I use along with my friends to gain a huge competitive advantage in dating. Check out this video about the Bay Area right here. Enjoy.